this is Gary, and you're watching Gary versus Cars and More. And in this case, the more is we're going to build a dollhouse. This item right here. So if you're interested, stay tuned. So if you have any kids, this is a kid-appropriate video. The goal here is to build a dollhouse using one sheet of 4x8 plywood that's a 1/8 of an inch thick. I'm sorry, I don't know what kind it is, but basically we're looking for something that's smooth and doesn't have any voids in it. My goal here with this dollhouse is to build it in 2 short evenings. It's not going to be an heirloom type of thing, but it's going to be down and dirty. Let's get the kids playing with the dolls quickly, and we're going to try to do it for under 20 bucks. Not only are we going to do a dollhouse, but in the future, we're going to talk about that car right there. That's my 66 Mustang convertible, doing a full-on resto mod of that. So this is a little departure from that for tonight because my daughters want a Calico Critters sized dollhouse. So we're going to, one of my daughters wants a Calico Critter sized dollhouse. So we're gonna get going on that. So before we get started, what I did was I planned out the dimensions. And I don't have a formal set of plans for you today, but if you're interested, leave a comment below and I'll see if I can draw something up for you. But when designing something, try to work in sizes of 8 inches in factors of 8, 16, 24. In this case, I do have 18, but that way you get the most out of your wood. So for instance, the dollhouse is the first floor, it's gonna be 18 long by 24 inches wide, and then we're gonna have a second floor, third floor attic. The sides, which I don't have shown in my mock-up here, is going to be 18 by 30, and then there's gonna be the walls inside. So with respect to the mock-up, my daughter and I, one of my daughters and I, spent a fun evening in the garage, and we just quickly whipped up, using cardboard, we just quickly whipped up this mock-up. Now, builders out there will say, hey, you know, this wall should line up with this wall, which should line up with this wall. I refrain from that. This is my daughter's design, and I'm gonna build her design because that's what she wants. Now, the OCD in me wants to line the walls, make sure the plumbing all goes in one place. Luckily, we're not gonna have any plumbing, so that doesn't matter. So in the make-believe world, this is a perfect dollhouse. So I've made one quick change, and that is the base of this dollhouse is going to be 3/4 inch birch plywood. You can pick up small sections of birch plywood at your home store as well. I just think it's going to offer a sturdier platform. I don't want it to be too heavy, but I do think, you know, since I had this lying around, I was going to use this for a base. So first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and rip this to 18 inches width and go from there. All right, so I've ripped the floors. So I've got the foundation, ripped to about, it's actually 17 3/4. The foundation, I'll cut that. And then I have these 4 boards, which several of them will be used as floors and a couple will be used as sides. So the next step is to cross cut. So we did a rip and now we're gonna do a cross cut. When using the table saw, I like to keep the good side of the board up and the bad side, which really isn't a bad side on this, down. It just provides a better cut and it keeps it from getting marred. All right, so what we've done now is we've cut the base, and actually the final dimensions of the base are 17 3/4 by 23 3/4. And then we have the first floor, or actually the second floor, the third floor, and then the attic. So what I have here is one of the side walls, and this wall is going to be 30 inches tall. Each floor is going to be about 8 inches, so that's 1 floor, 2 floor, 3 floor, with a small attic space, okay? So I simply found the center of this board. I then went down 6 inches side points, and then with a grease crayon, you can use a pencil, I just happen to have this, I measured that out, and that will represent the side of the building. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out on the table saw freehand. I don't recommend this, but for others, so you might want to use a jigsaw. I just get a good cut and I'm used to doing it that way. Okay, so now we just created the sides of the house. There's not going to be any front or back walls, just simply side walls. And because I had ripped them at the same time that I ripped the floors, the sizes will be perfectly exactly the same. So the next thing to do is go ahead and rip the inner walls, which would be just under a hair under 8 inches. So all the center walls will come down the center, down the spine, and the variation will be in the side wall. Okay, so now that we have the sides cut, we ripped to height the different walls. They're close to 7 3/4 inch walls. I turn my attention to the side panel of the house itself. And what I've done here is simply found a center of each of these floors marked in red, cut a block, and just simply squared up and traced the block. And now what we're going to do is we're going to use a jigsaw. We're first going to use a drill. We're going to punch a hole in each of these, and then we're going to tape the bottom, and then we're going to jigsaw. And the reason we tape the bottom is so that we don't get blowout. There's going to be some blowout, hopefully not a lot. I'll use a fresh blade, I'll go slow, and we'll cut that out. So what I'm doing here is close to a corner of each of the windows, I'm simply drilling a hole, and that way I can stick the jigsaw into that hole. Welcome back. This is the second day of the dollhouse build, the down and dirty dollhouse build. Last night we set the back panels in and we let those dry. I just put this panel in right here. So here is the prototype that we had right here, and this is the actual. And what we're gonna do now is we need to figure out the stairs. Now there's building codes that have a rise over run for a certain stair pattern. But what we're gonna do is, for the purposes of this build, this will be the second floor. It'll fit right in snugly like that. And we're gonna figure out just where to cut the stair in. So we're just gonna eyeball that and cut the stair in, and then we'll glue this up. Okay, so now I went ahead and I glued on the ceiling of the first floor or the floor of the second floor, and went ahead and just simply caulked these. I placed some paint cans on the top of this for a couple hours and just went ahead and did something else, and that held everything down so it is nice and sturdy. So that is dry. So using our template or our mock-up that we did, we're doing something like this. Now granted, the stairs will be right here. I wanted to leave this open so that little fingers can get through here and get into that deep area, as well as these windows. Little hands can get in here and play from the sides. Those windows are a little larger than you would expect. But so we're gonna do something like this, and the stairs will come up here, and then this floor, this takes us up to the third floor, will be like this. So this is the prototype. If you'd like to see more of this kind of work, hit the subscribe button and the like button. And I also do car videos as well. But as you can see, involving the family, specifically the kids in this kind of project, is something they'll always remember. And I got a lot of fun out of it so far. So thank you and have a good night.